Good morning, brothers. How are you today? My name is Kevin Bennett. I have the pleasure of serving as the executive director of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. I currently reside in Baltimore, Maryland. I was initiated at Beta Chapter, Hampton University, and I'm currently a member of Alpha Omega Chapter, the oldest alumni chapter in our fraternity. I'm a little delayed on meeting a request from some members of the Eastern region relative to this thing they call the coronavirus. And I think the purpose was to just show life as it is currently and get some reactions from members around the fraternity in terms of how life is impacting them currently due to the virus. Um, what have I been doing since the virus is, pretty similar to everyone. Trying to maintain social distancing, which understandably is a challenge. I think that today stores, retailers are doing much better, but in general, I think that, as a society, we may not get it collectively and not realize how easily it is to pass this virus along. So I've stayed put for the most part. Um, I do spend time with family um, periodically, not necessarily often. And it's catching up on all of those things that you said you wanted to do that you never find yourself having time to do. Since now, there are days literally when I don't leave the house. Um, what I understand about this virus is that it's deadly, and we can't see it. We really don't. We know how it's spread, through contact, uh, particularly open areas of the body, eyes, nose, mouth, any wounds you may have. Um, but we're really not sure, in my opinion, as a society, in terms of packages or clothing, how else is this thing surviving? So, it's one of those things that the better you can minimize the number of people that you come in contact with, inclusive of family, the safer you would be. I am quarantined alone. Thankfully, my nephew just came by and took my car to put it in the shop today. Uh, and I have to trust that some people in my family, because I think it's pretty difficult to not be in contact with anyone. And we didn't hug or anything as we normally would, or even handshake or anything, but so we didn't touch, and we do sanitize, before and after ourselves. But being by yourself is tough because even though we might like our own private time, on times when you can't, by instruction, do certain things, it's almost feel like you're restricted. And I think the restriction is something that I know for a fact that I'm not accustomed to. I'm normally moving, 27,000 miles an hour, trying to figure out where am I going next, and to come to a complete standstill, in fact, if not go backwards, is something that's very unusual for me. But we are maintaining. We are trying to be supportive to community as best possible. I actually moved recently, so I'm in a new community, just kind of learning my way around in this neighborhood of Baltimore City. So my chapter, we are actively, looking at ways that we could continue to support the community. So we're happy about that. What have I learned about myself during this quarantine? And well, that's interesting because, you certainly, if you take the time to stop and think in the quietness of the night or earliness of the morning, you've got to learn something. And part of that is that, I appreciate life. I was fortunate to experience a birthday during this pandemic, and to see the outpouring of remarks on social media, and just people reaching out to me, personally, it helps carry you through to the next opportunity. And it just crystallizes for you what life is all about. Um, Unfortunately, we have lost some fraternal brothers during this pandemic. We have lost some close family, friends of the family, if you will, during this pandemic. And so for me, being over that 50 hurdle, it's clear. Um, Life is beyond precious. We have to respect it and engage it and live it to the best of our ability every moment that we have. Because we know not when it's going to be taken away from us. And we should not be afraid of that. And if anything, let that focus us. But I learned that I'm resilient more so than I thought. I learned that I'm patient more so than I thought. And I learned that I enjoy what I'm doing for a living, quite frankly, because it's given me an opportunity to stretch wider into that long list of things that I've always said, in my opinion, it would be key if we were able to accomplish this and get this done from an organizational standpoint. Um, what advice could I give to other brothers that may have tested negative or positive? I'm blessed. I don't have any symptoms. I don't know whether I have the virus or not. I have not been tested. I don't have any intentions of getting tested unless, some symptoms come about. And I'm going to continue to do my best to make sure that I am not in an atmosphere where I may contract the virus. So it's kind of hard to give advice other than to say, brothers, please be safe. Take this thing serious. Um, Stay away, as long as you possibly can, to just ensure that your family is okay. It's like anything else. We don't know how we're going to handle something until it hits us. And I gotta tell you, in the beginning, it's a little better now, but in the beginning, this was a rough transition. I found myself slipping, quite frankly, into depression, over something that I can't control, or certainly that I didn't bring about. And it took, my family reaching out to me, to just say, hey, we love you. And stopping by for a few moments. And so before the social distancing numbers kind of got down to 10, and even with the 10, we my immediate family that's here in Baltimore is not that well. We are a large family, but we don't spend time together that often where they're at my establishment. So the opportunity presented itself for them to stop by on a nice day, and we were able to sit outside for a good portion. And all I could think about is, thank you, God, for saving me. And what I mean by that is, my son texted me that morning to say and said, Dad, I'm going to stop by. And he didn't really know where I was at mentally and how I was feeling. And when he got here, it was almost like he was just being born, that moment. I was beyond elated to see him. And that taught me that, okay, it's okay, because this is something that we've never experienced before. You don't have to have the answer all the time. You don't have to be tough all the time. It's okay to say, you know what, I was lonely. It's okay to say I was confused. It's okay to say I'm concerned. And quite frankly, if you're scared, it's okay to say I'm scared. But knowing all of that as time moves on, what do we do about it? And I think there lies the answer to in the difference between people that, we react differently and we make decisions differently based on what we're exposed to. So, kind of wrapping this up, I appreciate you listening. What am I looking forward to once this pandemic is past us by, or we're at the point where the country and world or feel like they know how to deal with it? I'm looking forward to getting outside and being certainly much more active than I am now. I'm an avid golfer. I enjoy the game. If you play, let me know. I'd be happy and love to play with you. Nothing like seeing IOTAs together on the golf course. I'm going to, do all of those things, quite frankly, that I put off, and wanting to do, not making time to do. And I'm going to take a hell of a lot more time for Kevin Bennett, because at the end of the day, when, the song is over, who can I blame? So my challenge to you is to take this thing serious, continue to be safe, thank God for the air that you're breathing and the ability to move your limbs, and pick up the phone and check on someone, let them know that you're thinking about them, and just continue to be blessed, my brothers. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.